You know who number one is? Here we go.
Herd hierarchy.
Time is now. Let's go.
The top 10 NFL teams according to Colin. Number 10.
All right. I'm going to put Kansas City at 10. Here's what worries me. They're tied for the most turnovers in the league with Jacksonville. They've gotten sloppy. Their defense is allowing over 7 yards a play. That's on pace to be the worst in league history. How do you beat them? Keep Mahomes as a spectator. You can't give up 7 yards a play. Mahomes has 6 picks this year. So the protection I'm worried about, the sloppiness, they're bad situationally, but they can win a lot of fireworks shows. So they're still in the list. I put them at number 10, Kansas City.
Number 9.
I'm going to move Cleveland up despite a loss because I think if Cleveland played the Chiefs today, I think they could beat them, and they did control them for 2.5 quarters at Arrowhead. They're the number 1 rushing team in the league. I still like that. I thought they should have won the Chargers game. I didn't like the PI call, but they've now blown 2 10-plus point leads. That's a problem. Also, Mayfield's 3rd career loss when his team scores 40 points. So, again, I think Baker, when he doesn't have to throw, can throw. When he's forced to throw, he's not as efficient, so I put Cleveland at 10.
Number 8.
The team I dropped the most was the Packers. I have watched them be outplayed for long stretches by Cincinnati and Detroit this year. They're 4-1, but the only team that's 4-1 that has 4 wins with a negative point differential. I've seen them get blown out. I see them struggle with the Bengals and the Lions. They're just not quite right on special teams. They got very conservative with play calling this week. That worries me. Their offensive line's okay, not as good as last year. They are wildly dependent on Devontae Adams. They don't have a 2. That worries me. So I know they're a good team, but man, they need Devontae Adams to be special every Sunday. And so I only put him at 8.
Number 7.
I think the Chargers do more things well than Green Bay right now, so I edge him ahead. Listen, here's the thing with Herbert. He's getting better. Like, he could be better this Sunday than last Sunday. He's got 3 straight games with 3 touchdown passes and 100-plus passer rating. I still think you can run on this team. That's why I can't have him in the top 5. That concerns me, and I think they have to address that in the draft, get beefier through the middle of the defense. But there's not a lot not to like. They have an emerging star at quarterback. He appears to be getting better. And by the way, Rashawn Slater at left tackle is not just the best rookie offensive lineman. He's in the argument for the best left tackle this morning in the NFL. And then Asante Samuel is an absolute home run. So they took a good roster. Herbert, Asante, Rashawn are stars, not paying anybody anything. It is a bright future.
Number 6.
I don't move the Buccaneers. I keep them at 6. Number 1 passing offense, but the worst passing defense. Now, this weekend they look fantastic, but you're thinking the same thing I am. They're winning games, but they're just not quite right defensively. So Brady looked fantastic. They've got a ton of weapons. We know they'll be around in the end, especially the top of the NFC that is weaker. But their greatest strength is they're on pace to have 3 receivers for over 1,000 yards. They can win like Kansas City, but with a better defense. They're not quite right yet.
Number 5.
Ravens. Now, I dropped them from 2 to 5. I think they're becoming a little dependent on Lamar Jackson being amazing. They were outplayed last night for 3 quarters. At least 2.5 quarters, they were outplayed. They were outplayed completely by Detroit. So I love Lamar, and I said this. He's lightning. You never know how it's going to go or look, but it's art. There's something about the unpredictability of it. But, boy, they're becoming incredibly reliant on him saving them. It's the largest comeback, 19 points, by the way, in Lamar's career. He's overcome 10-plus point deficits in 3 of his last 7 games. So we can bury that narrative. He's fine coming from behind.
Number 4.
The Rams by an inch. Listen, this is where I give them credit. All 4 of the Rams' wins have come against teams that made the playoffs last year. So they're beating real football teams. Stafford has been a little inconsistent, but here's another number that Vegas loves. They're averaging almost 7 yards a play, 6.7 yards. That's a big deal in Vegas. That moves the number. They are wildly explosive, but they can also do the details well and get short yards. So I put them at 4.
Number 3.
Arizona. Didn't play particularly well and still won. That's a sign of a good team. They play Cleveland this week. Good luck, Cleveland. I think Kyler Murray is the story here. First year, he was dynamic with his legs, okay passer. Second year, took away some of the mistakes as a passer. Third year, he's now an elite passer with the legs. They also went out and got leaders like a J.J. Watt. So I like teams that score a lot that have a pass rush. That's what Peyton Manning and Bill Polian built. We knew we were going to lead a lot of games, so we got to get pass rushers because you got to throw to beat us. So they have a combination here. The big play offense, the pass rushers on the other side, Arizona at 3.
Number 2.
I'm going to be honest with you. Dallas is the only team that has not played poorly this year. In their only loss, they outplayed Tampa. They outplayed the Chargers. And by the way, they're 28-0 when they have more rush attempts than pass attempts in the Dak era. Well, what does that tell you? Well, right now they've got Zeke playing great with juice and Tony Pollard, and the O-line's healthy. So this team, we've always said, all quarterbacks are better when they throw 32 times, not 58 like Ben last year. But now they're running the ball, 2 backs. That just amplifies their ability to score on the perimeter and improving tight end unit. You tell me, my eyes don't lie. They basically, in the last 2 years, have hit 4 home runs in the draft from CeeDee Lamb, got Micah Parsons, defensive lineman from UCLA. They've got Trayvon Diggs. Folks, these are 4 new stars on this team. I got them at 2.
Number 1.
Had them last week, have them this week. I don't think it's particularly close. I think they beat Dallas by a touchdown. I think Buffalo's fantastic. Last 2 years, pass rush has been an issue. It's no longer an issue. 7 plays of over 20 yards against Kansas City. They are not a great running team. I guess in the salary cap era, you can't be a perfect team. So you could say if you force them to run, well, they don't necessarily, they're not forced to run much. I will say this. I thought it was impressive to go on the road and hammer Kansas City, and Stephon Diggs was not that valuable because I think he's arguably the best receiver in the NFL. So there it is. There, Joy, you have any big disagreements, anything that just drives you nuts here?
Nothing drives me nuts. I would swap Arizona and Dallas. Arizona is undefeated.
You're such a Cowboy hater.
They did. The Cowboys are good this year, and I don't know why everyone didn't see it.
Well, I didn't.
Was that Dak is back.
Well, and
they're made some huge changes on defense.
Yeah.
They did not sit there and ride it out, and that I think they deserve credit for being aggressive.
All right. You know Daniel Jeremiah, scout 3 times, Chargers broadcaster. He's going to